After a 2-week break for one of the best group stage spectator experiences I have ever seen in a tournament, the OWC World Cup is back to the bracket stage, starting with the round of 16. Let's discuss a bit about how the pool broke down, then take a look at how these matches shook out with the winner's bracket up first. This pool had 3 OWC original songs in it, 2 from previous other Game Mode World Cups, and 1 specifically for this pool, Vleermuis by Glade Paling, affectionately known as Paling, according to Twitch chat. This unconventional reading tech precision hybrid pick in Nomad 5 this week capped off very many matches, as teams either picked into it from a position of comfort, despite not knowing how well it would go, or picked into it down many points because they weren't sure how it would go. Nomad 5 ironically also had the lowest average score of any map outside the tiebreaker, with the maximum score on the map being a 750k B rank from Kamenshik, showing just how tough this map was to get a decent score on even for the best players in the tournament. Vleermuis also had a very high 75% pick rate and 81% presence this weekend, second in both of those only to DT2. This DT pick was itself a new take on a classic, another custom Senya map by Satellite, combination known both in OWC and across OWC. Many teams opted to avoid the Hard Rocks, Fremod 1, and Hidden 1, while other polarizing maps like the Nomad 2 Speed Pick and Hidden 2 Reading Pick saw both a high ban rate and high pick rate. Now, let's get on to the matches. Let's start in the winner's bracket, where the top 8 teams from the qualifiers show off for the first time in the OWC World Cup this year. While the Philippines did win their first pick of Nomad 1 against Poland, the first seed out of qualifiers is always scary to face off against for a reason. Poland took all 5 other maps in this match without too much trouble, netting them a quick 5-1 victory in which they set 4 different best scores of the weekend on 4 different maps. This is pretty much the expectation for all top 3 teams from the qualifiers, as the projected top 3 in the tournament was pretty clear-cut for most people before this OWC started. A special shout out goes to the duo of Malashevsky and Milosh for both getting top 10 in individual performances this weekend. Good luck to the Philippines in the losers bracket and to Poland in the quarterfinals. That slow section from Malashevsky and Nathan Ram, I think, was right before that on those long sliders. We'll see how many of these misses remain unresolved. Another break to come through for Shari Tori as well, but the score lead. The United States, as seed number 2 out of qualifiers, had their share of standard early round shenanigans. The USA has a history of giving up a point or 2 here and there in the early stages, this time giving 2 points to France on Nomad 4 and Nomad 5. After France got those 2 points on their first 2 picks, the USA snagged a break point for the 5-2 victory, in large part thanks to Rectagon having the single best performance of any player this weekend.
It was the backing scores, the backing combos. The United States, 4.2 million team score, and a 5-2 final score of the match. Advance onward over France. And hey,
Australia, our last top 3 team, had the most one-sided victory of the projected podium counterparts, a 5-0 victory over Romania, in which they set the only 4-way FC on DT1 throughout the weekend. They, of course, owe much of their one-sided victory to MREC and a Secret Box for playing every map and averaging 900k and 750k respectively.
Holding onto the 4-way with disgusting accuracies. Actually, MREC the only one to tank some ac in that last chorus. And that is an absurd team score, man.
Easy does it. 4-away. 4 points.
Canada also found a 5-0 victory over Norway in the round of 16 through a somewhat one-sided match where the only score difference below 400k was on Nomad 5, with Canada still having almost a 300,000 score lead on Vleermuis. Norway also had one player with food poisoning in Thailand, and another player stuck in Japan during this match, so this ended up being a bit more one-sided of a match than expected. Norway dropped to the losers bracket for a chance at redemption, while Canada's historical early round prowess and Zudinator's top 5 individual performance carried them on to the quarterfinals. Super long back and forth slider. Melver and Zudinator are somehow still full comboing. Zudi with 91, Melver with 94. I am kind of astounded they're able to full combo that. Melver finds the break at the very end. Zudinator also breaks at the end. No full combos, but a 5. Germany took a convincing 5-1 win over Brazil as well last weekend, with Brazil taking their point on DT3 and Germany taking the top score of the weekend on both DT2 and Fremod 3. Yeri, Kriller, and Okinamo topped the performance charts for Germany, all being major contributors. Luckily, this is not the end for Brazil, as they still get another chance in the losers bracket this weekend. This matchup, however, brings the all-time record between these teams to 4-0 in favor of Germany.
Missed right at the end. My bad, Okinamo. Did not mean to curse you like that, but Kriller, at the very least, will find the FC, and 3.2 million. Somebody can check, but I'm pretty sure is one of, if not the best team score we've seen on this map.
South Korea versus Chile was also a sweep in the winners bracket, with South Korea proving that even though they have lost many of their best players from last year, they're still very much a formidable foe in OWC, especially with star players like Flying Tuna and Amamiya Kokoro having the kinds of performances they had last weekend.
Veterans as well, just hovering right below that 99 mark, might climb back to it by the time the map ends. A couple patterns remaining.
Wow. Oh my
what
god.
What an FC from Amamiya Kokoro.
Incredible score from Amamiya Kokoro there.
Things got interesting in the United Kingdom's first match of the World Cup. While only 60 people out of 1,300 voted for New Zealand to win the match in pick'ems, their faith would not be entirely misplaced. New Zealand won their first pick in Freemod 3 Liar Dancer in somewhat convincing fashion by over 500k.
Huge, just going so hard right now. This is exactly what they needed. They went into something a bit more spicy, a bit more on the control side, and it definitely has rattled the UK a little bit. Their consistency not clicking right now, and New Zealand looking so good on this map actually.
The UK would fire back with a successful Nomad 1 pick of their own, winning by over 600k.
It's way over 3 mil, and it's still going. That's a 3.2 million score from the UK. That is a...
This trade of points would happen again on New Zealand's DT2 pick by over 1 million points, and the UK's DT1 pick by over 800,000 before we would get our first breakpoint on New Zealand's third pick, Freemod 2.
Yeah, I mean, these are just nuts. From Plasma and Bubble Man. Nothing you can do about that. 2 full combos on this. 3.2 million team score is absolutely crazy. What can you say about that?
This was a massive breakpoint by over 800k in favor of the United Kingdom, who were finally able to find solid footing in this match. That said, New Zealand would immediately turn that ground to quicksand on the Nomad 3, losing that pick to the UK by only 70,000 points.
You were right, not enough time, looked dangerous, but nowhere near enough map left. 70,000, that was very scary.
Unfortunately for New Zealand, this underdog story would die soon. While they won their Nomad 2 pick by a solid 500k, the UK would find success in their last pick of Nomad 5 and close out this match 5-3. For a match where 96% of people vote one team over the other, you expect it to be much more one-sided than this match turned out to be. New Zealand once again only played 6 team members during this match, with 4 of them playing at least 5 of 8 maps. This core 4, despite losing the match, clearly works very well for them and should be a huge asset in the losers bracket. The UK also owe their success to a core roster of a few players who play the majority of maps for their team, with most others coming in to fill a few maps throughout the match. Congrats to the UK for winning this match, and good luck to both teams this weekend. We now get to our only upset in the winners bracket last week, Russia versus China. While Russia were the on-paper favorites as the higher-seeded team, they were only 1 seed higher than China, seed 8 versus 9. China would pick mostly non-mechanical control-focused picks, while Russia would pick mostly mechanics-forward maps with a few exceptions. That said, this distinction ended up being mostly useless this match, as breakpoints abounded throughout this matchup. China won Russia's first pick on DT2 by over 600k.
Any mercy here for what otherwise would be one of the strongest teams in this entire tournament. This time, they collapse when it really matters. The stakes are immensely high for these two teams this early.
Followed by Russia winning China's second pick on DT3 by almost 400k.
Catch absolutely everyone. So well done to Russia, avoiding.
Followed by China winning Russia's hidden 2 pick by only 53,410 points.
To bring it back, but it's not going to be enough. Lexi may go down, Crystal drops, Lutzi goes down, but it's just David who still stays stalwart in maintaining the lead for China, as that will still be the map for them. A reverse breakpoint back-to-back. China will still keep that point.
Yet another breakpoint for Russia on China's Freemod 3 pick by almost 700k.
We're just looking for this to come through into the ending. There is nothing China can do about this except for hope that they can maybe steal away another breakpoint from Russia to start maintaining this lead. But Dasu coming in with a fantastic...
before finally settling back into their own pick on the DT1, winning it against China by almost 900k. China would fire back to claim match point with Nomad 5, winning it by only 175k, and finally taking the fatal breakpoint on Hidden 1 by only 108,000 points.
One final section. Can Russia hold on? Does China find the break? It's all on these recoveries. We can see no misses from Russia in the ending.
The pressure is piling onto China. Ludofox still doing everything he can to hold strong. That accuracy so low, initially a deficit, but now a blessing as the combo's still mounting up. Crystal may fall, but well to exchanges. Is there any hope left?
David.
Down goes David. Still so little time left as the big spurs will give China the win. No room left.
This is a historic loss for Russia. The last time they were in the losers bracket this early was in 2020 when they lost 5-0 to Japan in the round of 16. And this is a historic win for China for the exact same reason. The last time China was in the winners bracket quarterfinals was also 2020, having beaten Italy in the round of 32 and Poland in round of 16. China owe their success primarily to their players just playing well. Milk Tea and David both played all 8 maps and averaged over 700k for them, and many of these wins were reliant on these two players along with Crystal popping off just enough to win when it mattered. For Russia, it's down to the losers bracket with a chip on their shoulder after their earliest loss in 5 years. While this team saw most players play many maps and do well, it ultimately was not enough in this case, and they look to be the scariest team in the losers bracket this weekend. Speaking of losers bracket, let's move on to our losers matches from the round of 16. A few of these losers bracket matches were quite one-sided. To start, Taiwan swept the Netherlands 5-0 in a match that was anticipated to be somewhat close given their close seeding. In spite of that, Taiwan won every pick by at least 300k, showing they had full control over a match where their opponents had a tough time on the pool. This was also a seeding upset, with Taiwan coming from the contender groups and Netherlands from the challengers.
Best slider, my favorite slider I've ever seen, as a lot of players find a reset on the cross-screen reverse. I mean, how do you combo this, man? No one's comboing.
70k difference. Oh, and everyone died except for Gao at the end there. And did anyone really pick?
This now marks the 4th year in a row for the Netherlands to place outside the top 24, while Taiwan continues their run with a solidly rebuilt team. Commiserations to the Netherlands, and good luck to Taiwan in the losers quarterfinals. There were no more sweeps in the losers bracket, but Spain versus Argentina was still quite one-sided at 5-1 for Spain. Argentina managed to take a point on Fremad 2, Mirage.
Spanish roster maybe a little bit odd in low roll as well, but Argentina 2 million team score to finish out this map. BB Poo finds a miss at the very end too, not being able to hold on for that final combo.
But they were ultimately unable to do much else, as Spain looked pretty dominant throughout the rest of the match. Aleph tops the individual performance scores for Spain, getting number 11 overall out of 237 players this weekend, with Escrupulio also having a top 50 performance. Argentina, with this match, are eliminated in the top 32 for the 4th time in 5 years, while Spain celebrate their best placement ever in the OWC World Cup, having secured top 24 with this win. Good luck to Spain in their first ever losers quarterfinals matchup. Finland versus Peru was also 5-1 for Finland, a result most people were expecting despite Arnold's incredible performance in the group stage. Arnold continued to flex his muscles in this match, playing all 6 maps for Peru with an 850k average and the 6th best overall individual performance this week, but it was still not enough, as Finland's supporting cast smothered the supporting scores of Peru.
Wildly out of control. Those kick sliders claim a few combos. FC falls straight afterwards for Vardin, but it's 1v1 right now. Keeping the tension, keeping the peace. That lead is not going to move either.
Peru found their first ever match wins this year in the group stage, but they were unable to find success in the bracket stage again this year, finishing top 32 for the 2nd year in a row. Finland, meanwhile, find themselves in the top 24 for the 6th time in 6 years. Good luck to them there. Last up among the one-sided losers bracket matches this weekend is Austria going 5-1 against Singapore. While they were able to find a point and a very close pick for themselves in this match, Singapore once more found themselves just a bit outscaled on this harder round of 16 map pool, marking their 2nd consecutive top 32 finish.
We'll ignore that, as Z9A is popping off on this section. Hard Rock on a map like this is so brutal, and just a minor slider break from Z9A to lose that combo. Can't even blame him on a map like this, but that is the return from Austria.
Austria, in their stead, moves on to the top 24 for the first time since 2019. Austria's rebuilding and community tournament scene investment have finally paid off with this top 24 performance, along with the chance to extend it. Good luck to Austria in the losers bracket quarterfinals. Next up, we have a match with mixed expectations, Indonesia versus Kazakhstan. This match was split in the pick'ems almost perfectly 50-50, with Indonesia having slightly higher odds by community vote. This perhaps undersells how consistently Indonesia have made it through the first 2 rounds of the OWC World Cup over the better part of the last decade, having never finished outside the top 24 since 2018's group stage. Kazakhstan, as the new kid on the block, would need to prove themselves against a team many considered to be inconsistent in the early rounds of OWC.
I thought you were dead.
My death was greatly exaggerated.
This inconsistency was greatly exaggerated. Indonesia, in fact, has never been involved in an upset match so far this World Cup, having lost to all teams higher seeded than them and won against all teams lower seeded than them, and this remained true in this match as Indonesia came away the victor 5-2. While there were some close maps like Hard Rock 2,
140k score in the lead, barely any map left. Kamenchik is doing all that he can, but it's not going to be enough. Indonesia is going to win on Kazakhstan's Hard Rock 2. Lots of misses, lots of blunders.
Indonesia's consistently high-scoring mechanics roster enabled them to take victory over a Kazakh team that relies so heavily on Kamenchik. Much like Peru with Arnold, Kazakhstan lives and dies by Kamenchik, who played every map, averaged 790k, and was the number 4 performer overall this weekend. And, much like Finland, Indonesia's supporting cast was just that much better than Kazakhstan's, enabling them to pick straightforward mechanics maps all match long and gap Kazakhstan's supporting players on the easier maps in the pool, where Kamenchik's guaranteed FCs wouldn't matter nearly as much.
6 Lifeline all holding onto their FCs. It's just going to be a bit longer before Kazakhstan's hopes in OWC 2025 are crushed. Indonesia is going the distance, and unfortunately for Kazakhstan, that is going to be all she wrote, as Indonesia
find themselves once again in the top 24 for the 7th time in 7 years and look to breach the top 16 once more. For Kazakhstan, it's back to the drawing board for next year after their 3rd year in the OWC World Cup. Now we get to both the 3 closest matches in the losers bracket and the remaining 2 upsets in the losers bracket. First among those is our last non-upset, but perhaps the most surprising scoreline among these, Sweden versus Malaysia. While Sweden opened with a point on Flurmos, Malaysia punched right back with their own point on their Nomad 2 pick, with Rampax and Harumi Enna both putting up 900 and 800k.
Here, it is going to be a point for Malaysia. Like I say, we were doubting the speed, but it seems like it's working very well here. Rampax with the 97, Harumi Enna with the 95, perfectly serviceable accuracy. And it looks like the speed is going to be in favor of Malaysia today on the basis of this performance I play. There's opening a few more picks for them as well.
Sweden attempted to keep their points intact, but Malaysia broke them on Sweden's next pick of Fremod 1, in large part due to a fantastic 800k Nomad score from Chibi Maruko.
Finding the miss right at the end, but it just does not matter. The work has been done, and these are some incredibly strong scores for Malaysia.
Malaysia then picked DT2 and followed up this breakpoint with their 3rd point for a quick 3-1 lead to start the match. This time, Malaysia owed their success to a clutch FC from No Head.
There's 250k, there is combo on the side of Sweden, but surely there is not enough time. There is a quarter of the map though, so maybe... But No Head, if he holds for a few more seconds, surely it's all over.
From here, Sweden seemed to get angry. Or more specifically, Skilla seemed to get angry. He pulled out 826k on Sweden's next Fremod 2 pick, over 1 million on Malaysia's Nomad 1 pick, and over 1 million and a hidden FC on Sweden's Fremod 3 pick. These 3 quick points and 3 massive pop-offs for Skilla put Sweden at match point 4-3. Malaysia tried their best on their last pick of DT3, but Rampax top scoring the lobby did not matter. The supporting scores for Andros on Team Sweden were just better, and Sweden scored their 4th point in a row to close out the match.
The call.
That was valiant though. Rampax, man, that was looking like a comeback worthy of Lazarus for just a moment there, but not quite. Still a great attempt though. Andros and Falian said no. Tumbling through that middle section.
Despite repeating their top 32 performance from last year, Malaysia should call this result a success. They won matches for the first time since 2020 during the group stage, and they showed with this match that they have what it takes to hang with the middle tier teams in the US World Cup, something many people did not think they could do. Sweden, meanwhile, surely had a bit of the fear of God put into them during this match, with Malaysia presenting a real challenge all the way to the end. Sweden looked to now upset in the losers quarterfinals to match their top 16 placement from last year. Now we get to our second seeding upset this weekend, Turkey versus Italy. To set the stage for this match, Italy has typically made the top 24 when they do qualify for the US World Cup by relying on a very solid core of all-rounder stars. Despite not qualifying last year, expectations for this roster are always relatively high given how solid their core roster has been in the past. This year, however, they would have to rebound from a crushing 0-15 group stage performance where they did not win a single map against Chile, France, or Spain. Turkey, meanwhile, were coming off a 3-0 group stage and a top 16 placement last year, looking to repeat their performance and cement themselves as a mid-tier team. Turkey were the first to strike with a pretty close point on their DT2 first pick, with Italy showing that they still had some fight in them as Arj put up the only full combo in the lobby.
Supporting combo on either side. I mean, the most that you're looking at is going to be on Ryuzaki, but that won't be enough for the 270k.
Can Arj
it's just
do
Arj. Oh, I don't think there's enough time.
There might be. It's DT Hubba. There's a tapping map. There's a couple streams left, but the spinner comes too early, and Arj is not able to do it on his own. Wow.
Turkey, however, proceeded to win a breakpoint on Italy's first pick by over 750k on free mod 2. This was then immediately traded back on Turkey's Nomad 5 pick, with Italy winning it by only 150k.
Long slider, so it looks like Italy gonna come out of Gladdepaling with their first point in the tournament.
Italy tied it up 2-2 with their hidden 2 pick afterwards before trading breakpoints once again on DT3 by 50k.
Shift it now.
Wow.
Final pattern of the map, and Italy gets the breakpoint.
And Nomad 3 by only 3,300 points.
1k combo versus about 500 on the side of Turkey for Kirochi and Arj. 30k and climbing, another break from Spray, the
into
chain
the
break, spin to win.
11k, I don't think it's a spin to win, Hubba. Wait, Italy is spinning.
It might be.
Spinning.
It might be.
This Nomad 3 was the single closest map of the weekend, and this DT3 was the 4th closest of the weekend. In fact, 4 out of the 8 maps in this match made the top 20 closest maps of the weekend, with this fight night living up to the hype. Unfortunately for Italy, as the close points fell away, so too did their chances of winning the match. At 3-3, Turkey proceeded to win both Free Mod 3 and Nomad 4 back-to-back to win the match, with the Nomad 4 being the most one-sided pick of the match at an 830k score lead. Italy unfortunately finds themselves out of the tournament in the top 32 after this upset loss. This is honestly somewhat heartbreaking. Seeing a team not win a single point in the group stage really makes you want to root for them. Instead, it's back to square one for Italy, as they're eliminated in the top 32. Turkey, meanwhile, continue on to the top 24, looking to find a second upset in the losers quarterfinals. Last up in the losers bracket, we have Thailand versus Japan. Thailand came into this the favorites on paper, being the higher seed by a decent amount at seed 21 to seed 28, but Japan were on the up and up, having gone 3-0 in their group last week. Both teams placed in the top 24 the last 3 years overall as well, so this match promised to deliver from the outset. The very first pick of this match ended up being potentially the single most important loss for Thailand and the single most important win for Japan, a 47,000 point loss for Thailand on their hidden 1 first pick.
He does find a miss, though it does slow them down a little bit, but still, 40,000 last GI on the board. Do they have time? Let's be a massive chain miss here. Oh no! Yes! Japan, they're running away with this. They're taking this at the very last moment. This is a daylight robbery, Morty.
This was followed immediately by the next closest map of the match, a 57,000 point win for Japan on their DT2 first pick.
Single miss here is gonna matter. You gotta hope for those misses if you're rooting for Thailand. This is gonna be close, but no tripod chip. A miss at the end once again for him, and also missing, but it's not gonna matter. The FC is...
losing these two maps by a cumulative 104,000 points after having the lead in both would come back to haunt Thailand in this match. Even while down 2-0, they still managed to win their second pick of Nomad 3 by a massive 750k, thanks largely to Ars' 96% FC and Lesperi's 776k 1 miss, while Japan traded back on DT3 with only 188,000 points in their favor.
On the board, Lesperi, all eyes are on them. 200,000. They might have time or they might not. Easy Artifacts finds a miss. Kerama also finding a miss. Haga as well. And with that, all of the chances for Thailand will go away, will vanish in an instant as Japan drop the phone.
Thailand then found their own somewhat close win on the Nomad 4 by 190k, owing greatly to Ars' 700k S rank.
Lesperi normally expect them to be the main standouts, but it's Ars. Just shy of 700k here on the Nomad 4. Doing it once again in Thailand, much needed point for them.
Japan then proceeded to win Hard Rock 2 by a huge 530k and get to match point, owing largely to the full combo from Rafina. Thailand now needed to win through tiebreaker. They won their Nomad 1 pick by only 177k, with the whole team putting in work on the aim consistency map, and then found the necessary breakpoint to get to tiebreaker on Japan's last pick of DT1. Kadama and Chaifukchep put in the work on this map for Thailand.
Chaipong, Cheap, and Kerama, look at them go. The FCs are probably going to be closing this map out with the FCs off their own 500,000 sport difference, and Japan suddenly crumbling in their own pick. Chaipong, Cheap is going to be the one to miss here at the end as Kerama closes it out with an FC. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going.
Here is where those early 50k losses would come back to haunt Thailand. Furamun found a huge combo on the tiebreaker for Japan and had much better supporting bottom scores from Haga and Rafina, allowing Japan to win the tiebreaker with a pretty comfortable 220k score lead.
But Furamun, look at him go. 400,000, still the combo is there. 160,000 advantage here. Thailand, no combos to try and contest this beast as Furamun just continues to hold on. 1,500 combo. Just look at Furamun go. Look at the combo, Wardy. This is ridiculous. And this is going to be Japan's point in this matchup.
Man, missing right at the end, but Furamun finding his second gear here in the ending, the hardest part of this tiebreaker, doing what was needed for Japan to crush the ending of this tiebreaker and winning 5-4.
Had Thailand won either of those early super close losses, they would have won the match 5-3 and moved on. However, the same goes the other way as well. Thailand won Nomad 4 by less than 200k and Nomad 1 by less than 180k. This match was super close the entire way through, and ultimately, Japan was able to clutch up when it mattered. With this loss, Thailand unfortunately find their worst placement since 2021, dropping out in the top 32. Japan move on to the top 24 at least with this win, and try their luck at a second upset in the losers quarterfinals. Last, let's take a quick look at how the bracket is shaping up. Most winners bracket matches this week look somewhat one-sided, with the exception of Canada versus Germany. Many of the first round losers bracket matchups look the same, though most of the potential matchups in losers bracket could be very close depending on how the weekend shakes out. Quarterfinals is always the best weekend of the bracket stage for upset matches and interesting results, so make sure to tune in and watch the matches this weekend. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this round of 16 recap video for the OS World Cup 2025. If you're interested in supporting this work or in watching more OWC content, come check out my own live stream at twitch.tv/do_os. Or if you're interested in more long-form content, come check out the Full Circle podcast on twitch.tv/Corsace. As always, make sure, as I said before, to tune into the matches this weekend at twitch.tv/OSLive for all of the quarterfinals matchups this coming weekend. See you next time.